20 minutes past 7 here on this Monday morning. Uhuru Kenyatta will be sworn in for a second term as Kenya's president tomorrow, the final act of an electoral saga that exposed deep and lasting divisions in the country. His inauguration comes a week after Kenya's Supreme Court validated his poll victory, although the country's political crisis is certainly not over. Let's cross over to Sarah Kimani in Nairobi. Sarah, a very good morning to you. Talk to us about the mood ahead of the inauguration tomorrow.
Good morning, Leanne. Indeed, it's a very beautiful morning in Kenya with just over 24 hours before Uhuru Kenyatta is sworn in for his second and final term. Now, Nairobi is woken up to the hustle and bustle of any capital city. People going on with their business. Newspaper headlines talking about that inauguration for Kenyatta's second and final term. The newspapers talking about who is expected for that function and just about the high level of security detail that is going to be put around the city of Nairobi where Kenyatta will be sworn in. And on the other hand, fears that the country will still not be out of the political deadlock yet because former Prime Minister and opposition leader Raila Odinga plans to hold a parallel rally tomorrow, one that is parallel against the swearing-in ceremony of Kenyatta, saying that they still do not recognize him as a legitimately elected president. They will be holding a rally to mourn people who have died during the protest called by the opposition to mourn them, saying that Kenyatta's regime has been one that has had police brutality and also terming it as a dictatorship and an illegitimate regime.
We look at just, we remember the poll. I mean, when we look at the percentage, we've got 40% turnout for this vote. Raila Odinga decided not to do it. Mr. Kenyatta winning 98% of the vote. So this really is a divided nation. And yet we heard yesterday that the Uhuru Kenyatta saying his first priority coming in is to unite the country. Do you think he can do this?
Indeed, Kenyatta has spoken again that his first priority will be to unite a very divided country. Yesterday, he reached out to former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, calling on him and his party to come onto the dialogue table and to say what he would want to see done for the country. Religious leaders also saying that they would want to see the country united now. A lot of Kenyans we've spoken to on the streets saying they would love to see the political temperatures cool down, and they would also want to see these long political period coming to an end. Of course, it will be a difficult task for Kenyatta, considering that the opposition says they do not recognize him, and all they want, any dialogue they're saying they want, is for another election. So it will be difficult for Kenyatta, indeed a very difficult task for him as he begins his second and final term.
Yeah, we also heard from the Deputy President, William Ruto, and just also urging Kenyans. It's just incredible how divided the nation appears. Just to quote him, saying that Kenyans must shun those preaching hate, tribalism and division. Let us resolve that we will refuse hate, resist negative ethnicity and reject divisive politics so that we can live together as one people. So it really appears from every direction that there's this call for unity within Kenya, that there's this call for peace, a peaceful rule that we're hoping to see from Uhuru Kenyatta. But I suppose there are many unanswered questions, aren't there? And do you feel that? Do you get a sense that, you know, we're moving into a political atmosphere that is rather dangerous?
Yes, it is very dangerous. And also, remember the two candidates, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto, came into power in 2013 with international criminal cases hanging over their heads over crimes against humanity following the 2007 post-election violence. Of course, those cases have already been thrown out, but they would want to take this second term as a term that they will be seen that they moved away from that political dark past of the country, and they have moved the country forwards towards unity. It will be a tough time considering the country is almost divided right down the middle. In the first election, Uhuru Kenyatta had just over 8 million votes against Odinga's 6.1 million votes. So clearly it is a country that is almost divided right down the middle. But apart from the politics and trying to bring the country together, it is the economy. This time the finance minister talking about the economy having done so badly and even going ahead to down downgrade this year's GDP growth by about 2 percentage points, saying that the country doesn't look like it will do well because of the prolonged electoral period. So clearly, Kenyatta has so much to do. He's also promised free education for those clearing primary school and heading on to secondary school. He's promised to increase the number of people who are able to get free health care. So a lot of work right ahead for him. So if politics comes in the middle, then it means that he may not be able to achieve a legacy that he'd want to leave behind.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, we have to leave it there for now. But I have no doubt we'll be talking to you tomorrow, because it's a big day. I know that opposition parties were calling for supporters not to attend the inauguration, not to support. We've been having reports of about 19 deaths by police at the hands of police out of Kenya, of some of those that support Raila Odinga and are not supporting Uhuru Kenyatta. So it's a big day for Kenya tomorrow as the inauguration takes place. We will certainly get another update from our Kenyan correspondent, Sarah Kimani. Right now, though, we've got sports news, and Palesa's got the details.